Okay, so we start a new file. And we're going to go to the metric standard, create. So I'm going to create a circle. And this time around, let's remember that the outer diameter of the ball bearing is 16. So we're going to try with 16.1. Again, we're going to have to figure that out if we need to put it 16.2, as we saw that the printer seemed to have printed a little bit smaller than what we wanted. But let's go with 16.1. Anyways, that you're going to be able to adjust. After that, I'm just going to center this. I'm going to create another circle. And it really depends on you, the size of the circle. I'm going to put it to 10 millimeters. And then I want to constrain this. Where are they going? I'm doing a demo. Where are you guys going? I'm doing a demo. Okay, everybody else, you can listen to the demo. I've just stopped the recording, but I'm going to start it over now. Okay, so we want to constrain these two circles. I'm going to put one on top of the other one. So I'm going to constrain here. I'm going to constrain. No, I don't. It's not the vertical constraint. It's the horizontal constraint. So it's putting the two circles one on top of the other, nice and smack. Then I'm going to do another constraint for dimension. So how far do I want these two circles to be? So I'm selecting the two centers of the circles, and I'm going to say 30. So as I put it down, I place 30, and I have it. So usually fidget have 3 spots. So I'm going to rotate this circle on top. And it's the circular rotate over here. I've just paused. No, I just paused the recording. Guys, just listen up and you can see the video after. So just watch it, me doing it. And then if you need to go back, I'll upload it right away. Actually, I'd rather you just play around with it for the fidget and try to see how inventive and whatever you want to get. Okay, so I'm resuming recording. So I'm going to rotate. Go away. I'm going to circular rotate this. And instead of doing and the axis, I'm going the center. Hi, if you want, I think, so usually we want to do 3 if we wanted to have the traditional fidget. I think after this, I'm going to try one with 6 just for the fun of it. So we have this. So remember, we're going to have to put a weight on the outside of this fidget, because the more weight there is further away from the center, the more when you give it a spin, the fidget is going to go longer. It's just, the further it is, the more energy it has, right? So the first circle that I created here, the small circle, is the hole where you're going to put your weight. Okay. Then I'm going to create with an offset the outside of the fidget. And here is where you're going to invent. Don't take my numbers or don't take my numbers. Doesn't matter. Try it out or start with my numbers and play around with it. That's 9. 15 is going to be too much. 12. And I'm going to do the same on the other ones. I'm going to offset by 12. Now, I'm just thinking about it now. Maybe I should have done this offset before rotating. So then if I wanted to change something, I only had to change it in one place and not in 3 places. See, so this is all things that you want to think about as you're doing it. So then we're still just in sketch mode. So we're going to sketch an arc. And you see, I'm putting it anywhere, and I'm doing it on purpose to really put it anywhere because it's not constrained, and I'm going to make it look the same with the constraints that I'm going to have. But hopefully this one won't, these two won't mess up, but we'll see how it goes. So then we're going to go to constraints to constrain these arcs, and we're going to go tangent. So we want to have this arc tangent with the circle. So I'm just putting tangent. See, it worked well. Nice. Right there. But those lines are still in purple. That means they're not constrained and they don't. So we're going to constrain them with the dimension. And here was a little bit funny because depending on where you pick on it, it will constrain on different things. So I really wanted to constrain on the radius. So I had to click here, right? If you click in the center, you're constraining on the angle. So you really want to constrain on the radius. And when I tried it at home, it was 18, but I didn't have 12 for the circle. So let's try it, 18. How does, click on it, 18. That looks nice. So I'm going to constrain this one. Okay, dimension. See, I'm not picking the diameter. Oh, there you go. If you have the little circle with the arrow, that's going to be the diameter. This is 21. I want to put it to 18. So click 18. Going to do the same thing to this one. Oh, this one was 30. Click down 18 and my fidget looks really nice all of a sudden, right? And you can play with this. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish. And I'm going to zoom out a little bit and I'm going to extrude. And then I've got to select everything and it extrudes nicely, right? So we have a nice, beautiful fidget. Do we want it 10 millimeters high? Why? He said 10 is good. You say it's too big. Why?
It's just too thick. You can't have a fidget when it's thick.
Okay, you're saying it's not big enough. It can't fit. Don't forget about your ball bearing. How thick is your ball bearing? 5, right? And the shaft that we created was 5 plus 2 millimeters. So, you know, you can't have a 10. I tried it with 5. Hopefully I'm not screaming into the microphone right now. Okay, beautiful. We leave it like this. Now we're gonna round it up. So there's many ways of rounding up, but here's a nice one. I think it's in the fillet. We have full round fillet. Okay, this is really cool. Is that we're gonna select the first face, and you got to click on the top face, and then select the center of the face, and it's this one. And the last one, no, you're in my way. We're going to do the bottom face. And it does a perfect rounded fillet from one face to the other going through that center face. So it did everything for me. I could have fiddled around and I could have tried to figure out what's the radius and everything, but everything's done for me. Okay. Now I want to curve these edges just a little bit. So we're going to go to fillet. We're not going to go to 2 millimeters. That's way too much. I would say 1 or even maybe 0.5. Let's try 0.5. And I'm just going to click and it's going to do the fillets. And then I'm going to turn it around and I'm going to do the fillets on the other side. Right? Awesome. And I'm done. Right? And you can play around with this. Do you want squares to maybe find a block of something? This is where you're going to have to figure out what you want to do with your fidget. But I suggest this here. You spend a little time searching what kind of weight you want to put there. A lot of people, what I see in the fidgets is they put another ball bearing in there. But I didn't buy enough ball bearings for you guys to do that. That's why I made those circles a little smaller. You can make them bigger, smaller. You'll see. You're going to have to decide. So I'm going to save this as fidget 6. Save. I'm going to go back to my assembly 2. Actually, I'm going to leave my assembly 2 there. I'm going to create another assembly, and you'll see why I'm doing that. So I want a new assembly. So I'm going to save this as final assembly. Did I save this one? Let's make sure that it's saved because we're going to need it. No, we didn't. So assembly 6. That's what I didn't save last night. Okay, so now in my final assembly, I'm going to come and place assembly 6 that I just did. Where is it? Assembly 6, which is all of it. And I'm going to also place my fidget 6. Right? I didn't do it on the same plane as I was working last night. So kind of looks funny. Yes, you can use the free rotate to align it a little bit, but you don't really need to. You constrain and you constrain flush, and you're going to take the center axis of that 16.1 with the center axis of the whole thing. And it just puts it there. Oh, I didn't ground something. Let's apply. Let's close. Let me ground this one just so something doesn't move. And I can place it there. I can even rotate a little bit. Okay, I'm going to place it there. And I'm going to look at it. Right? And all of a sudden, I'm realizing that maybe that piece that I put in the middle to hold the shaft and the cap, they look a little big to me. I don't know how they look to you, but they look a little big to me. Right? Okay, so I have all of my pieces here at the bottom. I have my cap, I have my shaft, I have even my assembly, and I have the other assembly. So what do I want to change in here? I want to change this 2 millimeter to 1 millimeter, right? So what do I have to change? Who can tell me what I have to change? Actually, I'm asking. The extrusion, which one, right? So it's not this one, it's actually this one. So I'm going to double click on the extrusion and I'm going to put 1 millimeter. And then Do I want to change this one too? Maybe, huh? Let's go. I'm going to change this extrusion too. The last one. I'm going to put that one to 1 millimeter also. Because on the other side, I had a 2 millimeter space. Now I'm going to change the other side to 1 millimeter also. So I have to change this extrusion too. Because I have to change the cap, right? So I got to change this extrusion. And this is where I made a mistake when I did it. I didn't do my third extrusion dependent on my first extrusion. And you're going to see how the problem arises. So if my second extrusion here, and this is really important. Julian, do you want to listen up too? Okay, thank you. So the second extrusion the third extrusion on this one, I only did it because I knew I wanted 2.1 millimeters. I didn't think of the fact that if I change this extrusion, that one would change also. So look what happens. I'm going to change this extrusion to 1 millimeter because I find it's just too big. And all of a sudden, I've created a hole because the other extrusion was 2.1, the cut. So then I had to go back and change this extrusion to 1.1 instead of 2.1. I could have constrained it to a few millimeters from the other side. So you can extrude to somewhere instead of extruding a certain amount. So I'm going to say, okay. And I'm going to go to the assembly, and all of a sudden the assembly has changed. So because you changed the parts, the assembly got changed automatically. You don't have to redo it. It does it for you, right? And in assembly 6, you have it and it looks awful because it's all far away and it doesn't look right. So in this assembly, I'm gonna tuck it in nicely, right? Does it look right? Looks right. And I go back to this assembly. And well, it needs a little bit of adjustment, but it's great. And then in the final assembly, look, it looks much better. Okay, so now what I want you to do is play with this outer image. You can make it bigger, smaller, you can make it a little thicker. Think of the fact, and I'll have to go see Angelo to see how this will print, if it will print nicely or not because of the curved edges. I think it's okay because it's not very thick. It's not very wide, that outer thing, so I think it will be okay, but I can't guarantee it. Think of the fact that you want in this hole, you want to add some weight. So the size of this hole, you got to find some weight. Maybe go in your dad's or mom's fishing kit and get some cement. I don't think some, well, no, but it could be some du plomb to weigh down the fishing rod or the fishing thing. So think of something that's heavy and put it in there and have fun. And it would be nice to print all of this. So I suggest that you print the inner 2 first and see how they fit, and then print the outer one. But make sure that you print on the same printer. Make sure that Angelo knows that you're printing on the same printer because they're not adjusted the same way. Sounds good? Sounds good.
We do a different pitch fit or different design?
Yes, you can. The only thing that you gotta really keep is that 16.1 or maybe 16.2, depending on the printer. That inner edge, that inner circle, that needs to be there. The rest is okay. You can do a 2, you can do a 3, a 5, a 6.
I was just like thinking like, for example, I don't know, because when I used to have a fidget spinner, like a Batman fidget spinner or something.
No, that you do whatever you want. That is up to you. Let your imagination go, your creativity go. But think of the fact that you have to have something that is symmetrical in a way, so it spins nicely. Think of the fact that you want to put a weight somewhere. Maybe you don't want to put it here, the weight. Maybe you want to put it all the way at the edge completely. The further it is from the center, the more it's going to have momentum. Okay, so the better it will be. Yeah, that's why they put the ball bearings. You weren't listening. I talked about that. Okay. So. Okay, let me just, I gotta stop sharing and then I gotta